All right, guys. So we're outside, and I had a few requests to record more videos outside. So, here we are. So where are we? We're in Tsim Sha Tsui in Hong Kong. So this is on the harbor side, and you get some of the most amazing views here. So over here, you can see across the harbor. You see that central side. That's basically the financial hub of Hong Kong, and on this side, it's kind of interesting. On this side, we have the cultural side. So that's the cultural center over there. And there's a museum over there. There's an art gallery and stuff. So this is one of the most scenic areas in Hong Kong. Definitely recommend you guys visit it if you ever come here. And it's actually quite a cool time right now because as you can see behind me, there's barely anyone. Normally this will be flocked full of tourists, but nowadays with that virus, that annoying virus and all, there's barely anyone here anymore. So it's pretty much a great time to be in Hong Kong, and it's a great time to talk about Hong Kong too, because kind of something that's very interesting about Hong Kong. I mean, if you just see all the skyscrapers behind me, is that Hong Kong's economy is very, very largely based on finance. And one interesting story that happened quite recently is a very embarrassing situation with a certain law firm. And it relates to crypto because this problem could 100% be solved by an Ethereum smart contract. But as it turns out, the traditional financial sector and also the way it works with lawyers, it's created a big problem for around 10,000 people in Hong Kong trying to buy homes. And so what is the story and what is it blowing up? Why is it like Hong Kong freaking out about the story right now? So in Hong Kong, the way it currently works right now is that if you want to buy a home, you want to buy a property, well, you got to prove that you have funds and you got to send those funds normally to a lawyer first, right? So the lawyer handling the case, handling the property case, well, they will hold the funds in escrow for you. Usually that's an entire sum. So usually what happens is you go to the bank, you apply for your loan, you send that to your lawyers, and you pray to God, hopefully these lawyers, they'll do the job properly. But recently what happened was that a very, very big law firm here in Hong Kong, they were discovered to have some funny accounting. I mean, this always happens. And this is something that's, prior to crypto, I didn't realize everything here, like everything in this world is very broken, right? So anyway, so this law firm is now under investigation. And unfortunately, that also means that their bank accounts are completely frozen. So because of that, because their bank accounts are a mixture of funds, it also led to the freezing of money from their clients. So now a lot of people are in a big trouble, kind of like they were about to buy a house, they already applied for the loan, they got the money, they sent to the lawyers, and the lawyer said, "Oh, sorry, yeah, we're under investigation right now. We just have your money, but we can't withdraw it."
So here we really have potential property buyers saying, "I've lost an apartment for no particular reason." I saw a comment here that says, "In the future, will people dare buy a flat through a law firm? There's no protection to clients at all." We also have the usual dramatizing that says from Miss Chan, who says she's in tears after $800,000 has been frozen, including the deposit and her stamp duty.
And it's kind of funny, right? Because typically speaking, these systems kind of work, and a lot of lawyers, typically they make fun of how Ethereum works, because Ethereum, you can technically write a smart contract that does exactly this, right? You can write an escrow contract. I mean, we've seen projects like TrustSwap, where you can basically guarantee that if X is delivered, you get the payment, right? This is actually very, very easy to do on Ethereum. But a lot of lawyers in the past, they made fun of Ethereum. They're like, "Oh, these smart contracts are neither smart nor are they legally binding contracts." But the funny thing here is that sometimes even legally binding contracts don't work. So in this case, right, with these millions of dollars for each individual being escrowed by this law firm, all those contracts are now broken because this law firm has their bank account suspended. So anyways, that's a kind of a ridiculous story, but I found it's kind of funny. So I kind of feel it's always very funny, like also just to look at Hong Kong and see where we're at. So, Hong Kong has been very traditional, those banks over there. I mean, if you actually just look to it, let me just show you guys a little bit more close up to what's across over there. So we got the big building, the very tall one, all right? that looks like a razor, so like a shaving razor. That is the IFC, the International Finance Center. Then we got this one in the middle of the screen here, that building with the little crosses on it. That's Bank of China. Then we have a lot of banks in the middle, pretty much Standard Charter. You can see that logo there. HSBC. I mean, if you think about it, the H in HSBC stands for Hong Kong, right? So, huge financial capital here. Um, why am I talking about this? Well, I kind of feel like it's funny to talk about and be here because, we're so involved in decentralized finance, right? And the thing about decentralized finance is that, yes, it's very new, it's crazy, but at the same time, the amount of stuff that's being built here is absolutely insane. So I feel like something that's happening now is we're kind of seeing that shift, right? Like, we basically are taking whatever they're doing over there and bring that onto the blockchain, and it's more efficient, it's faster, you can move larger sums of money around, it's trustless, it's permissionless, and it's immune to pretty much all the political movements around, which is great, right? Because, back there with that system, right now, there's a lot of controversy over money that's being used for political reasons, and there's a lot of restrictions that are just surfacing up on politically sensitive money, right? That's the easiest way I'm going to phrase it, but read between the lines here. So yeah, it's kind of insane that crypto, you have way more freedom on this too. And something that we noticed with DeFi is that when DeFi kind of reared its head in 2020, so I was there for the whole of DeFi summer. It's crazy how much can be built overnight and how much money was placed in there, right? If you look at the whole yield farming stuff, I mean, millions were moved in hours, right? And to start farming, and then the value locked. I mean, YFI's value locked is over 100 million, right? And then you got Uniswap, which got $2 billion of liquidity pools there. It's insane. So I feel like there's so much promise here. I feel like it's a little bit sad seeing Hong Kong relying so much on finance, but at the same time, it's kind of exciting to see what can be built in the space and what we can replace in the financial system. So, at the start of this, I really didn't understand, the value of everything here. I mean, a lot of people, they saw and they gave the analogy that, a blockchain's like the invention of the internet. And I'm like, wow, you're just like exaggerating a little bit, aren't you? That's a little bit pushing it. But it does make sense. I mean, if you think about it from the financial world's perspective, Hong Kong, it looks very new. The buildings look very old, but the way they operate in Hong Kong is very, very old fashioned, right? Because they've been running this for a long time. Like, if you ever need to do anything in Hong Kong, like, it's all administration, filling out forms after forms after forms to make sure that the system works. But when it's on a blockchain, you just like click a button and it's done, right? And you can see insurance being built up. You can see exchanges being built up. You can see lending platforms being built up. Yeah, I think it's actually a really cool time to be around. I definitely, I think like it's times like this when I make these videos, I'm very thankful to be in crypto, to be at something that's growing like this, rather than to have something like, if I was like working down there, right? If I was working in Central, working a desk job, I don't think I'll be happy. Like, I think, you'll see that, your salary is limited. You see that the economy is not doing very well. There's just so much corruption going on. Yeah, I'm just glad to be here. So yeah, that's my thoughts here. Like, every time I every time I come here, I always just wonder and just stare and just say, look, I'm glad, because there was a time when I would really kind of envy the bankers back there. Like, I would think, okay, I want to be a VP of X bank or something like that, and make tons of money. But crypto is way better than that. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this little scene outside. Hope the audio and the video works pretty well. I'm trying a lot of new stuff here, but yeah, hopefully it works. And I hope you guys like this segment. And if you do, make sure to smash the thumbs up. And with that, see you guys in the next video.